Hello, you! I'm Ed.
I'm Jordan.
Welcome back to Real Thrills, your home of films and theme parks.
And today we're starting a brand new series. Today we're going to be starting the new series of If I Owned. Now the concept for this series is that we're going to be taking a real life theme park, and then during the course of the video, on both of our perspectives, we are going to be ripping the theme park apart, saying what we would keep, what we would add, and what we would completely remove.
And it's basically like how I'd improve, but for an entire theme park.
Instead of just one ride. So, on today's video, it's Universal Studios Florida. It's not the entirety of, like, the Orlando Resort. It is literally just the Studios Park.
Not Islands of Adventure, before you
Yes.
get confused. So, we'll start with Studios, or as we call it, Screenios!
Screenios, yeah!
Because this is a big change that I'd already make. Get rid of half of those fucking screen attractions, because there are far too many. Well, so, as you walk into the park, you've obviously got Despicable Me, right? The Minions.
The whole Minion Land, yeah.
That's gone. In my room...
In your version, that's gone?
Yeah,
okay.
that's gone straight away, because it's too much.
All right.
I get why they have it, because it's for the kids, right?
Mm.
I get rid of that straight away. And put more animatronic-based stuff in there. I keep it as like a... Probably Illuminations stuff, but I might put something Super Mario in there as well. I know we've got that in Nintendo Land, but maybe put a small thing for Super Mario in there.
Okay, interesting.
And maybe, or, you know what, screw it. I won't have the DreamWorks Land thing that is there now, because that was a flop. That is a flop, I'd say.
Well, it's mostly just a kid's play area, let's be honest.
So I'd change it into a DreamWorks Land instead.
Right.
And have a dark ride themed to Kung Fu Panda in there. So,
okay, so technically you'd take the DreamWorks Land, still keep it as a DreamWorks Land, but you'd take out all of the kids' play areas.
Yeah.
Right.
I still have probably the roller coaster, but it wouldn't be Troller Coaster, because I don't like the trolls.
So you'd rip out the entire roller coaster and change it into something else?
Yeah.
Okay,
probably.
what would you change it into?
I have a Kung Fu Panda dark ride at the entrance. So
or would you take it so that it replaces the Kung Fu Panda sort of play area that they
actually,
have?
you know what? Yeah. So, for the DreamWorks Land, we'd have the Kung Fu Panda ride instead of a whatever the hell it is, just a small play area. Shrek would get a ride, because where the hell is the Shrek ride? That is a boat ride.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's a quite unique idea.
And you know what? I would bring back Woody Woodpecker's roller coaster, because that was a beloved roller coaster.
I mean, it's not DreamWorks, but
okay then. I'd probably put
you could put it somewhere else, I guess.
I would probably put then. You know what, a Puss in Boots roller coaster, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean they've done that in Singapore, so they've proved it works.
So yeah, I would do that for the DreamWorks Land. It would still be DreamWorks, but it would be rethemed with rides rather than just a play area, because that's just brings.
Fair dues.
You still have the Shrek meet and greet, obviously.
Yeah.
You could meet Poe as well.
But you'd say the whole play area for Shrek would be completely ripped out and replaced with a show building for the ride.
Yeah. And
instead of meeting them outside of the hut,
you meet them in the ride.
Right. You'd have a dedicated place in the ride, and you'd walk through the shack for the start of the queue. That's an interesting concept.
I think that's better than what it is now.
I mean, yeah, let's be honest.
And then obviously you'd have to keep the studios kind of thing, because it is studios and it's styled like a studio set. Fine. Yeah. But yeah, the Minions rides would go. I don't know what would replace them, but I would get rid of them, because they're terrible screen-based attractions. The screens barely work and function. The Mummy ride would stay, because that is very iconic, and I would keep that.
So you would keep Revenge of the Mummy. So
you've
just won a lot of people.
Yes, I would keep Revenge of the Mummy. I'd also keep the Harry Potter, obviously the Diagon Alley, it's so iconic, I'd keep it.
So you would keep that area intact as well, good.
Yeah, and the train that transfers you via places.
Yeah, because that's just cool.
That is very cool. So all the Harry Potter stuff would stay.
Right.
Men in Black would also stay, because I love Men in Black, that's great.
But would you update it in any way? Like update its technology or something?
Maybe make the guns a bit more modern.
Yeah.
Re-track it a bit, but all the animatronics would stay. They become more up to date.
Yeah.
But the ride would stay as this whole as its mechanic. Obviously, E.T. is an OG ride. That again would stay. I'd give it a modernisation though, because the animatronics look a bit dated.
Yeah.
So make them feel a bit less 90s.
Right. So you'd give it a modern refresh.
Yes, exactly.
Basically.
But keep a new coat of paint.
Nice.
Right,
yeah.
And then obviously, because Fast and Furious is closing anyway, but that will get gone straight away. Supercharged would be replaced with Back to the Future.
Okay,
and it would be a whole land dedicated to Back to the Future. It would take up a portion of the main street, but
so
Back to the Future with a clock tower in.
Sick.
And I'd have a dark ride just dedicated, like they used to have with the DeLorean. It would also have a nice themed restaurant in.
Yeah.
Basically like the cafe they go to in the first film.
Oh, so the cafe 80s or the cafe 50s or...
Yeah, it could be both, a mixture of both if you like.
Yeah,
that'd be great to see. And then it has set pieces from all 3 films in it as well.
Yep.
And then I would have, obviously, the Blues Brothers stuff would stay.
Oh, what, the show in the street? Yeah, okay, fair.
I would put, so you know where that lagoon bit is?
Yeah.
In studios, I think it has no, that's the island.
No, lagoon. The studios just have a giant lagoon.
I would change that into Jaws. Add a Jaws ride in there. Bring back Jaws.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
so
it deserves to come back.
You'd rip out the entire stairway,
yeah,
and stuff, and
put Jaws in there.
Change the entire thing into a Jaws attraction again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, how would you put the ride entrance?
I'd probably have it like they originally had it, really well themed, because theming is what Universal's great at. So I'd definitely have like the logo, or maybe Jaws trying to eat the sign or something like.
Okay, interesting.
Obviously, there'd be Jaws animatronics everywhere, all over the ride.
I mean, you know how expensive that was.
But they could definitely do it now.
Yeah.
With the money they're getting from Epic Universe and all that stuff, it's definitely doable. But a lot of the stuff I make changes for is getting rid of those screen attractions. What, Jimmy Fallon's going. It's gone.
Okay, right.
I would put something better in there. I don't know what, but some... You know what? Maybe a Wicked dark ride or something. Wicked deserves something, because Wicked's got nothing.
Okay, interesting,
so, yeah. Wicked would probably get something. I'd probably, because Universal own them, I would get rid of... What other dark rides? I'm trying to think what other screen-based attractions they have.
They've got the two Minion ones.
Yeah.
They've got Transformers.
Transformers the ride, I wouldn't make it 3D. I'd make it like Spider-Man. Throw more animatronics in there. I'd keep it because it's Transformers. But
because that ride is a little bit sick.
It's just get rid of the 3D. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
work.
just get rid of the 3D. Yeah, because the glasses are annoying, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ripped that up. Then I also with the Minions ride. Then I'd probably put a Five Nights at Freddy's ride in there actually. Dark ride.
At the start of the part, you'd get rid of Minions entirely and just put in like
a FNAF land,
like a FNAF ride.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting concept. All right.
Because you could definitely fit that in where the Minions ride is. I mean, big enough to have a FNAF ride, a bit similar to the Sally rides.
I mean, saying that, I'd say that probably works better where Jimmy Fallon is, because that's right next door to a stage that they can have it on.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you now? The big question is, what would you replace the Minions with? Like the two Minions attractions.
It's got to be big, isn't it?
Like if you're gonna make it like just major illumination, right? What would you like change it for?
Well, the Lorax don't deserve it, I think.
Well, yeah, but
because the Lorax is...
They've forgotten about that. Let's be honest.
Which is a shame, but oh well.
Yeah.
Illumination's their main big thing. Do they do Hotel Transylvania?
No, that's Sony.
Oh Christ.
Yeah, I know. Sad.
Maybe I wouldn't do illuminations then. I'd just get rid of illuminations entirely.
You just completely rip that entire area up and start from scratch. Fair enough.
I'd probably put maybe Lord of the Rings in there. That could be a good...
What, open it to the part? You just have it as okay.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings would alright people straight away.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd have to retheme the opening bits, but I'd make a dark ride in there and a roller coaster for Lord of the Rings.
I mean, technically, obviously, Fast and Furious has a roller coaster where Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket was.
I wouldn't make it Fast and Furious. You know what I'd make it?
You go on.
I would have made it Ghostbusters.
You would have made it Ghostbusters? Okay, that's interesting.
Like that I thought it was going to be, but...
What, and have the queue go through the firehouse?
Yeah.
Like it originally did back for the Spooktacular. Yeah, that's cool. And I like that idea.
I would have had one Lord of the Rings ride to the left, and then the shooting attraction I probably would have changed to something King Kong theme, like the original King Kong.
Oh, sick! All right, yeah.
So I'm gonna keep going back to the original ways of Universal, but have all of that stuff. They can have screen-based stuff in there, but for the most part, all these rides will have animatronics on.
I'm actually quite interested. What would you do with the shows?
The horror makeup show would stay.
Yeah, I mean, it's staying, yeah.
And Animal Actors one, I'd keep that as well, because it's really good.
Okay, but what about Jason Bourne and a couple of the other ones?
Jason Bourne feels outdated. I'd change it to John Wick. At least that's a bit more modern, and people would love that.
It's not by Universal, but they can easily, obviously, partner up and
I was like, I'd rather have that, because it makes more sense, doesn't it?
Okay, interesting, yeah.
For a modern take.
It's an interesting take, really, yeah.
Would you go to that theme park?
I would.
Yeah.
Because you would have decided.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'd probably do with the theme park.
I'd go just to see how it is. You really see my take. So, my take of Universal Studios, obviously it opens in Minions Land. Obviously Minions Land...
Would you get rid of it?
Me personally, I wouldn't completely get rid of the Minions theme.
Okay.
Right? What I would do, out of the 2 attractions, I'd get rid of Minion Mayhem.
Minion Blast, yeah.
No, not Minion Blast. Minion Mayhem, the original one where you go through Gru's house.
Yeah.
I'd get rid of that. I'd turn it into the Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash thing they got in Hollywood.
That's a good shout, yes.
Yeah, because then you've got the contrast. You've got a family-friendly dark ride with animatronics spread all over.
And then you've got that shooter
But then you've got Minion Con for the blast. So technically you are standing still and you're sitting down.
Would you update the blasters though in the
I'd update so with Illumination Villain Con Minion Blast, which we've got a video upcoming very soon.
On how
we did improve it, but I'm going to take that, all the stuff that I said in that video, because we've pre-recorded that for a while, and so effectively, I would take the blasters, I'd make them smaller, more condensed, less heavy. I'd also make it so that you can, so instead of standing on the conveyor belt, you can walk.
Yeah.
You know, you could constantly just keep walking through. Like, yeah, I get it, it's a travelator and it moves, but you know, I'd also make it so that you could technically walk through the scene, you know, rather than, you know, having to stand in one spot, because that's stupid, and on your legs if you're walking around all day, that's just tiring.
Yeah.
Right, so I wouldn't do that. Right, I'd make it so there's a mixture of screens and animatronics. Like you have a villain animatronic in front of the screen, so it's like this is their room.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like, here, shoot all of my targets, you know, and you do all of that. So instead of it, you know, being about, oh look, you're going all the way across Universal, and it's like,
there's screens going off,
and it's like screens, and there's too much going on. You'd have a room that is dedicated to each villain. So you'd have a room for Vector, you'd have a room for El Macho, you'd have a room for Scarlet Overkill, you'd have a room for the Vicious Six. You get the idea. You'd have an animatronic in each of them with voice lines, right? Nice presented, obviously. You know, because the ride, let's be real, it did replace Shrek 4D.
Which wasn't great anyway.
Which wasn't great anyway, so if you take all of this stuff, then you would make the ride better. Off the Leash, though, I would keep exactly as it is in Hollywood.
Okay.
Because it's got animatronics absolutely everywhere. You ride in cardboard boxes, and you can easily take that entire era, rip out the theatre for Minion Mayhem as well. Completely, because 4D films, let's be honest, are on their way out.
Is it a thing at the park?
So, because there isn't a dark ride at the front of the park as it stands right now, I would put Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash in the Minion Land, turn it into an Illumination Land.
Not Minions.
Right, and not just Minions specifically. For the Minion sort of like shops, like the Minion Cafe and stuff, I'd completely, you know, keep that as it is, because it would fit in with the land. However, what I would do is I would also add in, so that the stage area, right, I'd make that a part of Illumination Land as well, and make that so that that's something to do with Sing.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's right. A good shout.
Yeah. So then technically they don't rip the stage down, and they keep it. But you know, it's all for the kids. That whole start of the park is all for the kids. You know, if you continue moving upwards towards where, you know, Jimmy Fallon is, Jimmy Fallon I completely rip out.
Well, it sucks. Yeah.
Well, no, not because it sucks, because it's a TV show. It's got nothing really to do with Universal as a brand.
It feels out of place, doesn't it?
It feels really out of place, considering it's sandwiched between Minions and Mummy. Like, no hate to Jimmy whatsoever, but his ride kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would do is I'd completely rip all of that out, leaving the firehouse intact and making that entire area, once again, Ghostbusters themed.
Good idea.
Right. I'd also make it so that but I would keep the Fast and Furious roller coaster.
Fair enough.
Only reason why is because Fast and Furious, as a franchise, I think works as a roller coaster best.
Not as that shitty screen attraction.
Okay, but I would move it. I would move it so that it's not in the same area as Rip Ride Rocket was. In fact, what I would do, alright, is I would push it so that effectively it goes round the area next to, so you know where Revenge of the Mummy is?
Yeah.
You know, I'll get to Revenge of the Mummy in a bit, don't you worry, but I would make it so that all of those buildings that are effectively facades, right, effectively it would be sandwiched in there
somewhere,
right? So technically, you've got so you've got it so that you see the New York Public Library, right? You'd enter through there, and you'd be out the back of here. Yeah. Okay, it would be in its own self-contained area where you can easily theme it in to Fast and Furious, right? For Ghostbusters, though, I'd make Ghostbusters. I mean, it originally was a stage show. I don't think Universal are really interested in doing stage shows right now. So what I would do is I'd go completely down that line and go, well, instead of Ghostbusters being a stage show, it would be a shooting dark ride.
Okay.
So you would basically be able to take the blasters, sit in your own Ecto-1 sort of ride vehicle, and you'd go around and you'd shoot ghosts. Similar to how Portons Park has done Ghostly Manor.
Yeah.
But with a mixture of both animatronics and screens. And you would effectively make it so that it's a Ghostbusters shooting attraction. Obviously, Ghostbusters is owned by Columbia.
Yeah. So
they would have to team up to do this. But because the firehouse is still in the park...
What about Revenge of the Mummy then?
Now, Revenge of the Mummy I would keep.
Yeah, it's a must.
Because Revenge of the Mummy, I mean, if I would get rid of it, I would get hate. Right? Let's be real. But what I would do with Revenge of the Mummy, okay, is I'd completely retrack it.
Okay.
Right? So that it's fresh. I'd also, right, completely, I'd also make sure that the cars are, they're more themed into what they are. Okay? So it looks like you're going through a tomb.
Yeah.
Right? Because most of the ride, it obviously takes place in the Mummy's tomb. I'd keep it exactly the same, because I think that ride is just as iconic as it is now. And if you would get rid of it, you'd kill off a lot of fandom.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Revenge of the Mummy would stay exactly the way it is, but the track would be completely retracked. Right, and there'd be new special effects put throughout that are not just screens.
Okay.
Right, to keep people on the edge and guessing, even doing a few more animatronics, maybe, So that attraction would stay completely the same because I'm not a roller coaster person, but that would stay exactly the same. Then we move across to Transformers. Now Transformers is cool, but it's effectively Spider-Man. So what I would do is I would get rid of Transformers. I know you would keep it, and I'm with you on that. But what I would do is I would completely gut Transformers, because Transformers itself, it's based on the Michael Bay version. Now the Michael Bay version is old. Well, not so old, but it is getting old. All right. So that's what I would. So I would get rid of it instead of making it a dark ride about Transformers and the fact you have to get the Allspark and the storyline is just all over the place and nobody really gives a shit. I would replace Transformers with King Kong.
Okay, the original.
Yeah, okay. I'd make it the same style ride as Kongfrontation.
Good idea.
Right, because Kongfrontation, is old, but it had the absolutely glorious animatronics of King Kong. Now, just imagine that on a 2-story building level.
That'd be sick.
It would be sick. Not only would they be able to get rid of the mid-mest that is Kong Skull Island in Islands, they would be able to implement some new stuff. Like when Kong drops the car, you can you can have it so that you go down this little bit and it's like a little bit of a drop. It'd be sick. But I'd effectively turn it into an updated version of Kongfrontation, right? Because that ride was sick, and I'm sorry, they really should have kept it.
But they got
not in the same place, because obviously it got replaced by the absolute go that is Revenge of the Mummy. But I would bring it back and put it in where Transformers is now. Now, where Fast and Furious is right now. All right, where Fast and Furious is right now, I would take the entire Fast and Furious area, and I wouldn't turn it into Back to the Future like you would.
Right. Okay.
What I would do is I would turn that entire area back into Jaws.
Okay.
Now, then, it's right in front of the lake, so that when you see it on the other side of the lake matches up to where Jaws is, and it looks like it's one completely themed in land, where there's no path.
Okay.
Right? So, instead of having it so that Jaws is it will be a boat ride, but it will be a completely indoor boat ride that won't like make guests feel like they're a part of the, you know, like it's they're being attacked by Jaws, but it would go through the plot of the original film, where right at the very end you'll have an explosion effect of the water going up, and you'll get wet. You won't have the boats like Captain Jake had, where you'll have the roof on it. You'd have it so that it's a completely standard boat, kind of like Pirates, where so effectively all of the little things, right, would go in. Obviously, Jaws the ride originally was indoors and outdoors, but so this attraction would be completely indoors, so that the shark jump scares would get the guests a lot more.
Rather than know what they actually do, which is
right,
not much.
Which then you can also do audio animatronics of Quint, Brody, and Hooper as well. Right? Because if they can do it with Harry Potter in Epic Universe, they clearly can do it with older actors.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously you'd have... I would replace Supercharged with a new version of the Jaws ride that's completely indoors. Okay. Where Disaster was, right, which that building area is still there to this day, I would cut that off, and that is where I would put something to do with either Blumhouse or FNAF.
Like their dark ride that they plan to do.
Right? So I'd put FNAF... I would put FNAF basically right next to Jaws, because then you've technically got a tiny little horror area.
Yeah.
You know? So you've either got Five Nights at Freddy's, you've got, you know, something to do with Blumhouse, or you've got something to do with some of their other iconic horror characters. Alright? Because yes, it would be far away from the classic horror makeup show, but then it would give that show more prevalence in this park, because there would be more horror in it. Okay? There'd obviously be two different kinds. There'd be shark horror, so animal, you know, scary horror, and there'd be and there'd be animatronic horror, so there'd be two different. Right? Okay, so then if we cut over to where Harry Potter is now, Harry Potter is great, but it is completely like overcharged. Now I like Harry Potter, so I'd keep most of it.
Okay. Like Diagon Alley.
Right, I'd keep Diagon Alley. I'd keep the thing. I'd also keep the bit in Islands that is basically that. Okay, if we get to Epic Universe as another episode, I'll change that. But that whole area would stay exactly the same. But I would take the abandoned Fear Factor Live area, right, and I would turn that into another ride.
For Harry Potter.
Yeah, I would turn that into another Harry Potter ride, because that theatre right there
is dead.
You know, it's dead, and it's been dead for many years. So to bring it back with something Harry Potter would be great, right? And that would expand it on. If we move round, we've then got Men in Black. Men in Black would stay exactly the same way it is, because Men in Black is sick. Springfield. Now, Springfield. Before Springfield was there, it was obviously Back to the Future. I'm not going to change it back to the Back to the Future. Instead, what I am going to do is completely double down on something that you'll see me do in the other parks. But because of Nintendo World, I would make the entirety of the Springfield area Pokemon themed.
Okay, fair enough.
Because then it brings inclusivity for the other plan that I have for Islands, and also the fact that Mario is in Epic Universe.
Yeah. So
it would bring it in all three parks, and it would make it completely a circle. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, so all of that would change to like the Pokemon. Obviously, the Simpsons ride as it is
would stay.
Is technically another simulator, and it's been a simulator ever since Back to the Future. So what I would do is I would completely gut that out and make that I'd make that a Pokemon Dark ride where you're catching Pokemon.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, and basically you have to. So it's like Ghostbusters, where effectively you'll have like a sensor, and you'll flick it, and it'll throw like a Pokeball at a Pokemon, and it'll go like, "Oh, you got points, success." Yeah. You know, brilliant. Or it'd be like, you know, you just see all of the animatronics as you go around, You know, you see them fight and whatever. Okay, the Can Kodos ride though, I turned that into a Pokeball sort of roller coaster, sort of junior roller coaster on the waterfront.
Yeah.
All right, because yeah, that dark ride, that flat ride is fun, but I would completely rip it out because obviously in my one, the park has only got 2 roller coasters.
So it needs more.
Well, 3 if you count the one in Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
But that's technically a hybrid. So if we were to put a junior coaster in, right,
more
I'd theme it to the Pokeball. To the Pokeball, so that the cars, so like let's say it's a spinning roller coaster and it's got Pokeballs as the ride vehicles, right? You'd then stick a water Pokemon, a fire Pokemon, and a grass Pokemon all the way around, right? So that as you're basically going on this attraction, you can, you know, think. So if we move on, we then get to DreamWorks Land. Now DreamWorks Land I would completely gut, because I'm keeping Illumination Land.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, so Illumination Land, that's for the kids, that's at the start of the park. DreamWorks Land I would completely rip apart, right? And I would use a franchise that Universal technically own, that they have never done a theme park ride on whatsoever. And I would say they would team up with PlayStation and make a Crash Bandicoot area.
Okay, that's very hot take. Whether they'd actually do that, probably not.
Like, yeah, but you know, you can see where I'm coming from for this, okay? So, basically, you'd make the entirety of DreamWorks Land the Wumpa Islands. Okay? You'd theme it in so that animal actors can stay.
Yeah.
Right? And also, E.T. would be moved completely, like, the building itself, I would adjust it so that it would change direction so that basically Crash Bandicoot is right in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay? Crash Bandicoot would have a roller coaster in it that would be, you know, like, you know, like you're collecting crystals and like you're going to defeat Dr. Cortex and it's got different pieces of, think of it like the Minecraft roller coaster that's coming to Chessington effectively, right? It is technically owned by Universal, so it does count, right? But then they'd also have another video game in the same land, meaning because it's sandwiched right next to Pokemon, you then have competition.
Yeah.
Okay? E.T. would stay exactly the way it is, but the track would be completely redone.
Because it's dated.
Because it's dated, and the animatronics, you know, would be completely updated. Same with the water effects, and same with some of the scenery. Yeah, it's a fantastic ride, but updating it to the modern technology would make it run more reliably than it actually does. Right? If we then cut back through to where they've not got no rides at all. Basically, where they've got a restaurant, I'd turn it into a restaurant and show.
Yeah.
So you have a restaurant and show in there. I don't know what I would theme it to, but I would have a restaurant and show in there, right? So maybe we move the Blues Brothers from New York and we give them their own show inside of this big plaza, right? Okay. We would then basically catch right back up to the horror makeup show, which I would keep because the horror makeup show is sick. If you've never done it, go and give it a check out. All right. But then we get into where Bourne Stuntacular is. Now, the Bourne Stuntacular, it's a great stunt show. We like stunt shows; they're great. I would move it to another place in the park. Don't know where, but I would move the entire show to another place in the park, and I would take that entire area in there. All right, and on the same street as it, so further up the street, basically near to where Wicked is, I'd build the DreamWorks Theatre as a replacement for DreamWorks Land, so that DreamWorks still gets representation.
It's just a show instead of a...
So basically it's a 4D sort of show.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Okay. Alright, but then, for the Bourne Stuntacular show, I would update it with a modern action franchise. Maybe they team up with Paramount and do Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Or they team up with Lionsgate and do John Wick. But I'm thinking the same as you. Jason Bourne is outdated and it needs to be updated to a modern franchise. You know? So I would change it to either John Wick or Mission Impossible because I think both of those would suit.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what I would do to this park.
A lot of changes then.
Yeah.
A bit like me. Because it does need changing. It's too screen-based right now.
Yeah, it is.
They need to get rid of the outdated stuff and put in up-to-date stuff, or keeping the classics but making them a bit better.
Yeah.
But whether Universal will actually watch this video and ever do that, no, they won't.
No, they never will. But, obviously, those are our thoughts. Write down what you would do to Universal Studios Florida in the comments down below. I've been Jordan.
I've been Ed.
You've been you. And we'll see you tomorrow for The Lion King.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Real thrills.